Hi, and welcome back to my returning viewers. In the last video, I said I would be covering a warbond that I personally consider extremely underrated, with it having 3 great weapons, the incendiary grenade but just better, and being a part of the OG warbonds which give you the most content for the price. I'm surprised it's not talked about more, so to make up for the lack of popularity this warbond has, this is how to. To kick things off, let's start with the very first page. So on page 1 you unlock the Winter Warrior set, a new victory pose, motivational shocks, and most importantly, the Tenderizer. The Tenderizer, while originally being just a Liberator, after a year of buffs and changes, it fully became the hard-hitting rifle it was advertised to be. Starting with the stats, the Tenderizer does an insane 105 damage a shot, and with having a 35 round mag, its damage per mag greatly exceeds its other assault rifle relatives. However, the drawbacks for this damage is the smaller mag size compared to other rifles, and it only has 7 spare mags, greatly reducing how free you can be with your shots. The booster, Motivational Shocks, is controversial, with some viewing it as pointless when compared to Vitality or Muscle Enhancement boosters, which is understandable. However, this booster is more so intended to be a specific counter to Bile on bugs. The booster does help shrug off other stuns, but it's mostly used in a way that just makes spewers less of an issue. But the problem with that is you never know when you're going to actually encounter spewers on the bugs, thus making the booster a gamble, which unless it's Democracy protects, no Helldiver likes. When you do end up facing spewers though, it greatly reduces the slow effect and overall makes fighting the insane spewer spam on higher diffs more manageable. Lastly, for page 1, the drip here is actually pretty good. I know a lot of people are indifferent on the helmet, but the snow spikes on the feet when it comes to the snow armor are just such a nice detail. The cape is also one of my favorites for the whole white and orange color scheme of armor, though do keep in mind I'm pretty biased when it comes to this set just due to me liking this warbond overall. Moving on to page 2, you get access to the Kodiak set, the Cooler Incendiary Grenade, and the Pummeler. Starting with the Pummeler, out of all the weapons of this warbond, this is by far the most slept on. With it doing 70 damage per shot plus stun, you would assume this weapon would get more use. The mag size isn't bad either, with it having access to an extended mag due to its attachments, and honestly, it just becomes a better version of the Liberator Concussive, which I know isn't very popular, but as far as support stun primaries go, the Pummeler is by far the most lethal. The stun is also the same as the Liberator Concussive, dealing great stagger with it being able to freeze heavier enemies in place. This makes it a great combo weapon when used in team play, with it comboing very nicely with other players with AT weapons. Moving on to the Incendiary Impact, it is the best Incendiary Grenade, with it being a direct upgrade from the standard Incendiary in Helldiver's Mobilize. Lastly, the drip for this page is basically the same as the last page, but with a more usable color scheme, with it fitting in more with the standard Helldiver colors, and the helmet also objectively being the best designed helmet in the entire game, and there isn't any room for debate. Page 3 is the most content dense when it comes to having other weapons, with it having a primary and a secondary. It also comes with one of the best victory poses in the game, and the Cobra Commander set. Starting with the Purifier is for the longest time which is the worst version of the Plaz. Thankfully, it's been progressively buffed over the years since this warbond has come out, and it stands right next to the Scorcher, if not above it now. The Purifier does 100 to 200 damage depending on how much it is charged, and is the first weapon in this warbond with medium pin, so it is monkey friendly. It still shares this drawback of the Scorcher with it only having 6 spare fuel cells and only 15 shots per cell, so you do have to make sure your shots count. The second weapon in this page, and my personal favorite secondary weapon in the entire game, is the Verdict. Doing 125 damage a shot with medium pin and having 8 spare mags with 10 rounds each, this weapon has it all. Many lethal secondaries challenge the king, but the Super Earth Deagle still reigns supreme overall. Finally, the drip on this page is amazing. Lots of people have complained about the color, specifically the brown, I just gotta ask why. I get white would blend in more with the snow, but the brown just supports the blue so well, and this armor has the most unique colors out of any armor in the game, which is both an upside and a downside. The helmet can go well on a couple specific armors though. Now that the very long overview is done, let's move on to the factions, starting with the bugs. All weapons in this warbond do extremely well, and this is the main faction in which the booster is good on, with it making the slowing effect of bile from hunters or spewers a non-issue. Starting with the Tenderizer, this gun shreds any chaff enemy you will come across, and due to the lack of recoil and accuracy, you can easily laser light pin weak points, and this thing can pop the backs of chargers, the heads of impalers, and the bile sacks of titans extremely quickly for a primary weapon. The Pummeler is more so the same as the Tenderizer when it comes to chaff, and can stun enemies up to chargers, making it a great support option. Same goes with the Purifier, as its AoE when shot at bug holes can farm you kills, and it can take out medium enemies such as bird commanders or armored bugs. Its AoE can also hit past charger armor if it hits the right angle, so in a pinch it can help damage chargers from the front. The Verdict also slaps on this front. However, when it comes to the Verdict, there is much more to talk about when it comes to the upcoming faction. Bots are another faction where this warbond excels. While the booster and the pummeler aren't very useful on this front due to the lack of light pin enemies, the tenderizer still manages to keep up just due to its sheer DPS. Its accuracy also helps you land headshot after headshot, as you don't have to account for much recoil or general inaccuracy. The main star of this warbond on bots, however, has got to be the Purifier and the Verdict. The Purifier just amplifies what's great about the Scorcher on bots, being its great damage output and sheer versatility when it comes to tackling enemies. The Verdict has the same versatility, but in your secondary slot. While it can't reach the same damage, it can still swiftly finish off heavier enemies or outright kill them if you get into the right situation. No Chatbot can survive a headshot from this pistol, and not even armored striders are safe due to the Verdict's medium armor pin. And due to it not having a heatsink like the Talon, the Verdict can pull out these bouts of insane burst damage repeatedly. While the Verdict does great on every front, this is the front that truly allows the Verdict to grow its wings and soar above the clouds. But let's move on to a front where the Tenderizer is king. On squids, as previously mentioned, the Tenderizer is the star weapon. While most would probably still prefer the Purifier, the DPS and versatility of the Tenderizer, in my opinion, just makes it the better primary on squids. It's just extremely consistent and can do great against basically anything you face in this front. All that said, though, the other weapons still do well. As previously mentioned, the Purifier can put in work on this front due to being medpen and AoE, helping out against Swords of Voteless and Harvesters. The Pummeler, while a little worse off than the other weapons, still offers a support role if you don't have the Pacifier. Finally, God's gift to humanity, the Verdict, performs amazingly on this front, and perfectly complements the Tenderizer. Where the Tenderizer struggles, the Verdict excels, with it being surprisingly great for taking out Harvesters using the medpen and the high damage. It also does pretty good against Chaff as well, and when you land your headshots, it can 2-tap Overseers. When you combine the Tenderizer with it, you get a base loadout that manages the entire squid front, freeing up your stratagem slots as you won't need to bring a dedicated Chaff clear option, while also having soft AT capabilities due to the Verdict. Overall, this warbond gives you great options for every front, and while more basic than the other warbonds, for a starting player, these weapons give you a stronger base to start experimenting with. It also gives you one of the best stun weapons in the game for those who are more interested in a supporting playstyle. Overall, I'd have to give this warbond a 5 out of 5. It's arguably gotten better as it's aged. Hey, thank you for watching the entire video. I'm gonna keep this short, but thank you guys for getting me to 1K subs. Never thought I could revive my channel this quickly. So I want to thank you guys for that real quick. Anyway, that's all from me for today. Bye bye.